Welcome to my kitchen, guys. And I wanted to record this video in my kitchen here because in the kitchen and what you eat and how much of it and the variety of it is really what truly supports phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification in the process. And what I want you to take away from this video is not to get overwhelmed by all the technical terms that are going to pop up and the amount of nutrients needed in there and the complexity of how liver detoxification actually works, but was two things. One, sometimes detoxification is talked about in a very vague terms that seems like woo-woo kind of nutrition science, and I want to show you one that detoxification is an extremely specific process that happens in the body. So that's the first thing that I wanted to show you with this video. And the second thing I want to show you with this video is there's very specific biochemical processes and very specific nutrients needed that from the food we eat to support this phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification. And then after we get into the weeds there, I'm going to back it up and tell you how to take some general rules to support and bring in all these nutrients needed for phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. And I think this will make it clear why the typical juice cleanse, cayenne water cleanse, detox in a box is not at all fully supporting phase 1 and full body detoxification, phase 2 detoxification, and quite often leaves people feeling worse than when they started. But when you take a whole foods-based detox program through Chef Theory Health, you're going to lose weight, feel great, and support your detox processes at the same time. So let's jump into phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification and get going from there. So before we jump into the weeds on the liver detoxification, I did want to just give a broad overview of how your body detoxifies and make sure we understand all the elements that come into play here and back it up to our 5 keys that we've talked about throughout this 2-week challenge. Now, these are the organs of play that really play the major role in detoxification. And our liver is the first one. He's the star of the show, and he's really doing the heavy lifting when it comes to detoxification. In phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification all happens in the liver. And we don't want to think of the liver as a filter, as is quite often portrayed. Instead, the liver is a factory that manufactures, transforms chemical compounds within the body, creates new compounds, turns, fats into glycogen and glucose and reverses that process as well. It creates and recycles cholesterol, and it breaks down and transforms these toxic chemicals and compounds in our body to have them ready to be excreted from the liver through the bile duct back into the colon and large intestines, where they're excreted and eliminated from the body. So that's a lot of what we're talking about, that process of these fat-soluble toxins that are getting liberated, broken down into intermediates and compounds that are available to be water-soluble, and then transported through the bile or through the kidneys and being excreted through the body. So that's also where proper gut health is one of our keys in this fundamentals of detoxification. Being able to have a healthy digestive system, healthy microbiome, and healthy large intestines, colons, to be able to have regular bowel movements, healthy motility of these elements through our body, and be able to excrete them on a regular basis is key to detoxification. Now, the kidneys, you can think of the kidneys as much more of a filter, and so the kidneys are responsible for a lot of mineral and electrolyte balance within the body, blood pressure regulation, but they also filter out and decide what gets excreted through the urine and what gets recycled back in the body, and they act much more as a filter than the liver does. So the kidneys are key, and kidney health is key when it does come to detoxification, especially with the water-soluble toxins. And what's the number one way we're going to support our kidneys in this challenge is making sure we're drinking enough water to really, again, promote that motility of that part of the system. So I always have my metal water bottle, 32 ounce, and I'm drinking like at least 4 of those a day. Usually I get one of those 32 ounce bottles of water before I even leave the house quite often. And then our skin is going to be another organ of detoxification as we sweat. So that's sometimes where exercise and movement comes into a key element with detoxification, is being able to sweat some of this stuff out is one way of excreting. And then we do breathe some toxins out through the breath, so the lung system there is another player in the game. But really the star of the show, and what we're going to focus on in this video, is our liver. And then gut health is also very key when it comes to detoxification in the whole picture. All right, so this is a great overview of phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification, the processes that are happening in each phase. So the processes of phase 1 detoxification are on the left: oxidation, hydrolysis, hydration, and dehalogenation. And then the nutrients that are used underneath them. And then on the right hand side is phase 2 detoxification, the reactions and the nutrients used there. And then down below are a lot of the antioxidants that assist in this process. And antioxidants, really what it comes down to is really the electron balance in these toxins and oxidative stress within the body. And the antioxidants really have a electron to donate, and they really help balance out those oxidative reactive oxygen species and toxins within our body. Now, phase 1 detoxification, you got to think of this as a 2-step process, right? And really, to me, it's a 3-step process. But in phase 1 detoxification, really what we're doing is making fat-soluble toxins into water-soluble toxins. Why? Because then they can be excreted in the body. When they're in their fat-soluble form, they're much more difficult to excrete through the body. And then phase 2 detoxification really is we're making these compounds, these intermediary metabolites. So, we're transferring the actual chemical makeup of these compounds, and we're making them available to almost have like a handle and be able to be taken out of the body. So phase 1 is making them water soluble. Phase 2 is putting a handle on them to be able to be excreted throughout the body. And in between, in the intermediary metabolites, those are actually sometimes more dangerous chemicals than when they start in the fat soluble form. So this is where if somebody's supporting phase 1 detoxification, but they're not supporting phase 2 detoxification and the elimination of these compounds, you can actually end up feeling worse because you're bringing all these fat soluble toxins and making them water soluble, and they're circulating through the body and having an effect on you. So I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of all the different terms here, but when you look at the nutrients used, riboflavin, niacin, B6, B12, and riboflavin is just another one of the B vitamins. Folate, glutathione, BCAAs, flavonoids, and phospholipid. Most of these guys are B vitamins and amino acids. Phospholipids are not; they're fat, and flavonoids are antioxidants. But almost all of those are B vitamins and amino acids. And where do those come from? Where the best sources of those are animal products, are meat products. So prioritizing protein. So, and then you look at the nutrients used in phase 2 detoxification: glycine, taurine, glutamine, N-acetylcysteine, and methionine, all amino acids. Those are all amino acids coming from the protein we eat. So are you starting to get the picture of why a juice cleanse that has no protein in it, 0 protein in a juice cleanse, 0 protein in a detox in a box, 0 protein in a cayenne water cleanse, activated charcoal, and clays? Like, these are missing the whole big picture. They're missing the meat and potatoes, if you will, of detoxification. And then down below is just eating the rainbow, eating our colorful wide variety of plant foods. I'll jump into that on the next. And then on the far right hand side of the chart here is really what is phase 3 detoxification to me, and that's eliminating. How are we eliminating these toxins? And there's 2 different strands right there. There's 2 different pathways, right? On the right hand side, it goes from the liver into the serum, which is your blood, gets filters out through the kidneys and excreted through the urine, or it gets transported from the liver through the bile duct. So healthy bile, healthy fats to support your bile is key. So from the bile back into the colon, large intestine, and then out through the feces and the stool. All right. So this is why we're going to prioritize protein as our number 1 element and number 1 key for how Chef Theory Health is going to focus on supporting our detoxification systems. We're going to eat the rainbow as our number 2, right? And that's where we're bringing in all these antioxidants we've been talking about. Number 3, we're going to drink plenty of water to support the kidney function and the kidney's role in detoxification. We're going to prioritize sleep and gut health. All right. So that's the complete picture. I don't want to complicate things with all these terms that we have on there, always back it up to those simplifications. All right. But I do wanted to give you the picture of why that is important and why it's not just woo science and why there's very specific processes and nutrients needed here that all come from our food and what we eat. So just to round out what I was speaking about in the previous slide, right, we're going to reduce our toxic load. And that was what I talked about in the previous video of our drops in the bucket and how to reduce our drops in the bucket. And again, not getting overwhelmed with all the different types of toxins out there, but instead seeing that as a bunch of different opportunities to reduce our drops in the bucket and reduce our toxic load. We're going to drink more water, eat the rainbow by prioritizing our antioxidant systems, B vitamins, which are coming from mostly our meat products, but they do come from whole grains as well, have B vitamins in them. And as I featured in my meal planner this week, and I'm going to feature in the week 2 as well, nutritional yeast is my secret weapon when it comes to B vitamins. Such a great source. Also adding a great nutty, cheesy flavor when in our culinary sense for it. So keep an eye out. Don't skip your nutritional yeast. Healthy fats to support cholesterol and bile synthesis. And this is where we don't fear fats at Chef Theory Health. Instead, we decide what are healthy fats and what are ones that are burdensome on our health products or our health systems within the body. Exercising to get that sweat going and the lymphatic system going. And then we're going to prioritize our sleep because that's when we are detoxifying, right? Is when we're sleeping. So we have to prioritize sleep. And then I wanted to just use this guide. I thought would be a nice visual to see what different antioxidants, all these are different antioxidants and which colors of the rainbow they correlate to and why variety is key here when it comes to plant foods. We want to focus on getting our colorful plant foods right. And that's one part that like a juice cleanse gets right is that they are trying to bring in colorful plant foods and really super dose our antioxidants. But to me, you miss all the fiber when you do a juice. And so you miss the gut health aspect of it, in addition to lacking on the amino acids and B vitamins that we just saw were key. So that's why a whole foods based approach to me, where we're prioritizing protein, eating our fiber rich whole grains, and eating the vegetables rather than juicing them, brings in our fiber, gut health, antioxidants through the colors. So starting at the top in our reds and into our oranges, we got, lycopene's one example, which is going to be great for our heart health. Carotenoids and beta carotene's one example of a carotenoid as we get into our oranges and our yellows. Vitamin C, vitamin E are both antioxidants in our yellows and greens, and chlorophyll in our greens, especially anthocyanins as we move into our blues and purples. And each one of these different antioxidants helps keep cellular stress and cellular damage controlled and balanced in different health systems within the body, right? Some are going to help in the heart, some are going to help in our vision, some are going to help with, different processes as far as like anti-cancer, anti-tumoric tumor properties within different systems of the body. So a variety of antioxidants is key. And that's why we want to eat the rainbow. And we don't want to hyper focus on one superfood. And that's really what I try to get away from with this is do not hyper focus on one small detail. Instead, we need to see the big picture. And that's why I talk in general terms about eat the rainbow, not eat this one specific vegetable or this one specific berry. You need a variety of them. A variety of colors brings in a variety of antioxidants, helps in whole body health. All right. And this same fundamental holds true when it comes to our protein as well. Variety and a variety of sources. Why? Because we talked about all those different amino acids and all those B vitamins. And each different protein source has a different amino acid makeup. They're not all the same. They don't all bring the same level of amino acids. All right. But like ground beef has a lot of the amino acids, a lot of the B vitamins. So beef to me is a fantastic actual health food. Eggs are a fantastic health food. Not only do they have protein, but they have all the healthy fats we need and some essential nutrients like choline that support these systems within our body. So again, keys that I mentioned and drops in the bucket, but variety of protein sources. And so that's what I do. This is what I do with my meal planners, guys. This is what the foundation of how I build my meal planners, right? And I'm getting away from the macros and worrying about calories so much. And instead, how do I build my meal planners? A variety of protein sources throughout the week, making sure I get a couple doses of seafood and omega-3 based sources. I'm going to do a variety of colorful plant foods to support our antioxidant systems. I'm going to do a variety of complex carbohydrates in addition to our plant foods to bring in a nice wide variety of fiber to feed our microbiome. I'm going to sprinkle in a couple doses and sources of a probiotic rich food to repopulate our microbiome and keep diversity alive and well. And that supports gut health. That supports motility within the body. And it supports so much more than this. Gut health supports how we feel, our cravings, our mood, our energy levels. These are all key. So do the B vitamins. They all play roles in this. And that's why we back it up. We don't hyper focus on specific superfoods. We don't fear foods. Instead, we recognize proteins, fats, and carbs all play an integral role in whole body health, not just in weight loss, but in disease prevention, how we feel, how we fight our cravings, and how successful we're going to be in the long term when it comes to weight loss and health goals. All right. So when it comes to eggs, I'm going to always shoot for pasture raised. Like I said in the previous video, the higher the fat content, the more important it is to go pasture raised and grass fed. So with ground beef, I'm going to have a higher priority than with a chicken breast. All right. I don't eat a lot of commercial industrial dairy. It just has too many drops in the bucket that come along with it. But what will I eat? I'll eat some fermented dairy like yogurt, cottage cheese, trying to shoot for organic and grass fed. I'll eat some goat's milk and some sheep's cheeses. Those to me have a fantastic sharp flavor to them. And they're always going to be a little bit healthier than your industrial commercial dairy cheeses. And then seafood, trying to limit our large seafood, right? Like our tuna and our swordfish that have a little bit of a higher mercury content. And we're going to try to go with wild caught when we can. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. And I hope you can see why variety is key, why fearing food will leave us worse off in the long run. And when it comes specifically to detoxification, why we need to prioritize protein, eat the rainbow, how we can support gut health, and how we can be successful in all of our health and wellness goals, and how my meal planners can help support you along the way there. Happy eating, guys. Enjoy. Let me know what you think of the video, and I'll see you in tonight's call.